Oh, jeez. That's not the right one.
On the wheels of steel.
Here we go. We're trying it again. Welcome to the New Journey Political Action Committee podcast. This is October, what is it?
21st.
October 21st, 2020. www.newjourneypac.org. So glad to have you on board.
This is Uncle Ruckus. No relation. I'm a very spiritual person. I start out each day thanking the man for the sunrise, for the land I walk on, for the air I breathe, and for this show, the era of Reconstruction.
This is Autry Pruitt, CEO, along with Darren Williams, your normal host, and the wonderful, beautiful, always, I'm going to get this sound. I'm going to get it. AJ Switson.
Yes,
we got
that's me. There we go.
There we go. Oh, all right, Darren, you're up on deck, boy.
Well, I listen. I appreciate you starting the show off with 50 Cent because he is in the news again. And of course, we know that the other day he joined the Trump train. Him and Ice Cube, and so he actually tweeted something that was pretty crazy. In the People's Magazine, it says 50 Cent says vote for Trump while also claiming president doesn't like black people.
In other words, Angela had this strategy. Which races do you want?
Exactly. Well, this is the interesting thing, and this will lead into his tweet. It says 50 Cent is facing backlash after telling his social media followers to vote for Donald Trump while claiming the president doesn't like black people at the same time. This is what his quote says: "What the F? Vote for Trump. I'm out. F New York. The Knicks never won anyway. Jesus. I don't care. Trump doesn't like black people." 62%. What he's talking about is the 62% tax rate that Biden may impose on New York. Are you out of your freaking mind? So, well, he uses the F word. But anyways, it's interesting, and it's very important to note that here, I believe there's going to be an awakening, and a lot of people, particularly black males, that are going to fall out of voting for Democrats, and they're going to join the 50 Cent and the Ice Cube train.
This is what has to happen. Trump has a singular moment, his campaign, Angela, AJ, he has a singular moment to use this. You can use Ice Cube, 50 Cent. Did I say that right? 50 Cent.
50 Cent.
Emmanuel, our producers over here.
You embarrassing him.
That's really embarrassing. Like when you watch one of the TV shows, and you like, that's how I felt with The Office. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'd watch Michael Scott, The Office, Darren, and sometimes I would be embarrassed. I'd be like, I gotta pause it. You're not about to do that, Dwight. You're not about to do that. No, but this is a singular moment that Trump has to turn. Put on the gas and turn. And this, speaking of that, give you an update with the PAC. We're hopping all over the place. I'll get to that moment.
Oh my God.
I forgot to give we got so many updates with the PAC.
Yeah.
All right, we'll just give it later.
No.
So he's got a singular moment here to turn. And if I was Trump tomorrow, do not say anything stupid about white supremacy, the KKK, Proud Boys, which, by the way, we find out were not racist.
Well,
listen, it was admitted that Gavin made some questionable comments, and our founder James, by the way, said to Gavin, "What the heck are you doing, man? You're not, because sometimes people are saying some stuff to be provocative. It's sort of like sometimes you used to have this thing where Republicans would walk around, why can't I say nigga? Why can't I say it? Are you stupid? You can't say it, obviously, because your dumb ass just did say it." So I think the thing with Gavin you're talking about was one of those things where he was caught up in trying to be, trying to say everybody's equal, everything is equal. But James, confirmed, and some other people I talked to finally confirmed, no, that leader of the Proud Boys is black, by the way.
He's Afro-Latin.
So
James
black.
be bitch slapping people, man.
That's
What do you mean? What do you mean Afro-Latin? No, he's African and he's Hispanic.
yeah.
But I'm saying
He's
that
black.
the way that people identify themselves, depending in the Hispanic
He doesn't identify
community
him.
is
He
different.
doesn't identify themselves as what his that way. He's
Well,
called.
he's on Hispanics for
He says
Trump,
he's
not
half black.
blacks for Trump.
Well, that's because that's where they put him.
Wow.
Because he had enough people. You know, if you had a choice between
is
being
that
with Diamond and
true?
Silk,
They got enough?
did you have a choice between being Diamond and Silk and Daryl Scott or Hispanics for Trump? Where would you be?
That's a tough choice. I don't know if I want to be on either.
You'd be with Native Americans.
That's a trick
That's
question
where,
for it, yeah.
My
because
grandma's
Angela's
a Native
light.
American. I'll go with that.
Angela's
No,
light.
Audrey, I think you're
People don't
absolutely
know
right.
that.
It is a singular moment for President Trump to really shine on this.
And not do what Eric Trump did, which is
Eric Trump needs
Photoshop
to-
hats onto 50
Eric,
Cent and Ice
that
Cube.
was brilliant. That
was
brilliant.
corny.
Who cares?
You
That
know what?
was
I
so
think
vote for Trump.
corny.
I sort of get it, but this is what I said. This is what I was thinking. Because they came out and said it, you don't have to do that.
It's corny. Your press.
It
Your
it
press.
seemed a little. I don't know. I don't think it was corny.
It was corny.
It was just like desperation
that's a
for
synonym.
Eric Trump to do it. That's something like somebody in like college would have done, or you know, maybe some producer, some pack podcast that didn't know shit.
Those are probably his two favorite rappers. Those are probably his two favorite rappers, and he
Doubt
just
it.
wanted to
Trump?
show admiration
Doubt it.
for him.
Trump know nothing
No,
about no
Eric.
candy shop.
Eric Trump, please.
No. Eric.
Please.
Oh, Eric Trump. Those are his two favorite
I love
rappers.
those. Yeah, his two favorite rappers.
Yeah,
But
sure.
you're absolutely right about it being a singular moment for Trump, and this is where he can really pull a lot of not just black males, but bottom line, white males and
I did it again.
black females and
did it again.
everybody. It's a good moment for him, I think,
Yeah.
particularly with culture. When it comes to culture, because that's what Republicans have always failed with is the culture. Capturing the culture, and this is an opportunity. And listen, Trump is a culture maker. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
We're
Trump
listening
is
to
a
you.
culture maker. Okay, he's a culture maker. So this is a great opportunity for him to snatch up the black culture of hip hop.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't think we should overstate the effectiveness of this. 50
He doesn't
Cent
like
complained
Ice
on
Cube
Twitter.
and 50 Cent.
I mean, come on.
Okay.
Like, it's not, this is not that.
Well, the problem. Anyway, there's a host to get at stuff. But you know, this brings up a very good point. Black folks, even if you think Trump doesn't like you, his policies are actually supporting you. So get
Hello.
off of your
Exactly.
racist butts and vote for Trump.
keep in mind that
Because Joe Biden don't care nothing about your black ass either.
50 Cent is
Just
in
saying.
the tax
About Hunter
bracket
Biden.
that will be taxed this highly.
Right?
So 50 Cent is in a higher tax bracket than the average American.
He's
So he's complaining about an issue that he will have, but a lot of people won't have to the same extent, even close. So
Well, I think, yes, they will have it to the extent of, well, number one, the SALT deductions have changed, right? So that's changed. Two, when we say extent, I mean, Joe Biden, they won't have that much in direct taxes, but by the time all the auspices and fees. See, when we talk about taxes,
we talk about, I mean, we know it'll affect GDP. We know it'll affect growth. We know it'll affect.
Thing is growth.
We know that
he's
it'll
supposed to be
affect
tackling
those
corporations
things, but
as well.
I don't want, like, a lot of people feel like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
this is the okay, let's not overstate the gravity of this. Is it cool? Is it exciting? Yes, it was when Kanye did it.
that's why you don't want to you want to take it in stride.
You want to take it in
You
stride.
wanna- that's
Do
exact-
not think this is the moment to everybody to jump on.
That's
and
what
push.
that's the mistake they made with Kanye. They should have just
Right.
said, "Hey, Kanye's endorsed the president. We're glad to have you on board, willing to work with you."
Yeah.
And you move forward. In other words, treat them like you would a white endorsement of a celebrity.
Right.
You take it in stride. You say, "Hey, this is great. Flash, flash, flash," and then get back to business.
Right.
It's the constant focus and attention that caused the problem. That's what caused
This still does not replace you doing black outreach.
it doesn't replace
It's
you
simply
shaking
a talking point.
Exactly. It's a feather in the cap, but that's it.
Right.
You know?
Well, listen, I think Obama's going back on the campaign trail today, and I think he's pretty nervous because he was supposed to be the black male savior, right? I mean, I'm sure Obama is a bit starstruck by this whole thing that Trump has won the approval.
I don't know, because Obama was hanging with Beyonce and Jay-Z, and Beyonce is like the queen of stars right now, and Jay-Z.
What if they get to Jay-Z and they say, listen,
Jay-Z would never mess with his bag.
You make a lot of money. You're a billionaire. Jay-Z, and you live in New York. I'm sure Jay-Z lives in New York. He lives in California. He probably has a home in Jersey. That's where he was hiding those pills. Anyways, I don't know what that was.
That was a phone call. My phone. Listen, we are busy today. My phone is blowing up. Darren is hooked in. Let's keep on going. Go.
Yeah, okay. But anyways, hey, listen, Jay-Z might jump on board silently, I'm sure. But he might vote for Trump.
Oh, but, personally, maybe.
He probably already did in early voting.
Personally, maybe. But.
Wait, isn't he a felon?
Jay-Z? Was he convicted?
Didn't he beat up that woman?
Oh, Solange? You talk about Solange in the elevator?
Or was that Chris? Who was that?
Chris Brown with Rihanna? Chris Brown went to jail.
Chris Brown?
I thought he beat her up in the convertible Ferrari.
Jay-Z beat her up?
No,
Jay-Z has. He has a second-degree felony.
You're listening to Death of Autotune by Jay-Z.
I don't follow these guys like AJ does.
It was a Google search, sir.
So Jay-Z can't even vote. Shoot,
Isn't that crazy?
So they say.
He can't even vote.
He has a second-degree felony.
Wow.
Did he get expunged or anything?
He was sentenced to 3 years probation. He stabbed his record producer.
When?
In 2001.
That's recent. Was it a white guy stabbed?
Let me see. Lance Un Rivera.
Well,
he did it in 1999.
Oh.
Actually.
He did it in 1999. Okay.
Yeah.
Poor Jay-Z.
Right.
He did get a gun possession charge dropped. Sorry, go ahead.
No. It's okay. But I think that this is unnerving Obama. I mean, Obama's going out there now. He's on the campaign trail, and I think he's trying to say, well, his legacy is completely destroyed outside of the Affordable Care Act. And so, this might be a good time to, hammer home on the situation of...
This is Prince, 1999. Remember this song, y'all?
I can't.
Woo!
What song is that?
I'm playing Prince, 1999, in honor of Jay-Z's felony conviction.
I mean, I forgot what I was gonna say. Obama's legacy, his policy legacy was, Iran, Cuba, Obamacare. But at the end of the day, you can't take away Obama's real legacy, which is being the first black president. That's his real and true legacy.
That's the first black American president, or the first just black president, someone who has African descent? Because he's not a black American.
You did semantics earlier with the leader of the Proud Boys.
No, I was saying that was something different. You were saying, what was the point that you were making before? That he's black?
Half black.
Okay, but I was saying that
President Obama can be the first black president with his white butt.
No, that's not the same thing.
Leader of Proud Boys, he can be half black.
Obama is
right, Audrey.
Obama is half white.
Obama's half white, half black.
And Enrique Julio, Jose? What's his name?
He's Afro-Latino.
The head of the Pride Boys is half African, half Hispanic.
So with issues like that, what they usually say is, what does a person identify?
He called himself half black.
Identify as more.
Well, he's like Obama. If he's with the Hispanics, he's half Hispanics. If he's with the black folks, he's half black. Obama. When he's with the white folks.
I guess that's up for debate.
Obama, I never heard Obama refer to himself as black anything unless he was talking to black folks.
He didn't have to identify himself. You could look at him and see he's black.
Okay, there you go.
So
He did remind us who his mother was, though.
what are you talking about? He walked around and said, I got a white mom.
Pretty
I got
much.
No, he didn't.
He said one time I was talking. He goes, "I understand both sides of this issue, given my unique position." That was Obama speak for.
I get that.
I'm white.
I get that he acknowledged that he was mixed. I get that.
He did. So that's all I'm saying.
But I'm
is,
saying that's all besides the point. Obama's legacy is still that he is the first black president. So you can't take that
I guess
away.
I wasn't arguing with that. I was disagreeing.
Was what Darren was.
Are you disagreeing with that?
That's what I was saying in response to what Darren said.
No. What I am saying, this is what I'm saying. The guy is not black. He's not the first black American president. And this is the situation with Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is what? She's Jamaican and she's from India. I mean, her mother is from India. So they're hollering, oh, she's the first black, vice president nominee, black female. But are we talking about being down with struggle? I mean,
that's
coming
what I'm saying.
from
Like the difference
ancestry
between
that was Black American. I think that's the main focus that most blacks get involved in when they're talking about the first black president. I mean, of course, they're not going to acknowledge that with Obama. They're just going to lump him in as being the first black president. But listen, I want to follow.
Jesse Jackson ran. He was black. When Jesse Jackson ran for president, Darren, you remember that?
Black.
Oh yeah, he was
Jesse
black.
Jackson was black.
He was ghetto black. He was ghetto black.
Jesse Jackson was black.
Call him ghetto?
I don't think he was ghetto.
I don't think
ghetto.
When he ran for president, he wasn't ghetto.
I'm not saying ghetto. I'm saying he's from the hood. He's from the hood. I'm not
So
saying
you're
he's ghetto. He
describing
never
blackness
act
with
ghetto.
ghetto-ness?
Listen. Jesse Jackson, right. If Jesse Jackson would have won, he would have been the legitimate first black American president. I still don't think Obama was born in Hawaii. But anyways, that's another topic. But he's on the campaign trail, trying to defend his legacy. And it says actually, Obama said that he said he's gonna pound on Trump. He's gonna go after Trump like no other Democrat has ever gone after him. I guess he's gonna do the same thing. Remember when he was on Jimmy Fallon?
No, I definitely don't remember that. I'm not watching Jimmy Fallon now.
No, he was doing the tweet thing. You don't remember anything about that. When he was doing the tweets, and then he responded because what was it? Trump said that he's gonna go. He's going to go down as the worst president in the United States. And then Obama tweets,
I was making faces at
Darren.
Darren.
Go down as president. And then he drops the smartphone. And of course, he was embarrassed. So anyways,
well,
it's interesting that he's going to go out there.
He's going to go after
salvage
Trump. Okay.
Well, he's the one that is best posed to do that. As a former president, he can critique Trump in a unique way. So it'll be interesting knowing the facets of his legacy that was the reason why Trump is in office. If without Obama, we wouldn't have Trump. The fact that Obama took the country in a direction that it wasn't ready for, nor did it really want in a lot of areas, the voters kind of said, "Oh, whoa. We don't just want to pump the brakes. We want to just throw this out and start over. And we just want someone who's going to tear everything down.
They wanted a wrecking ball.
Rebuild." Exactly. So Obama is really the reason why we have Trump. So really he can't take credit for it, but we can definitely say you had so much backlash to your legacy that we got Trump.
Listen, if I was Trump and Obama started talking to me, I'd say, Obama, I'm sorry, but you are the reason I'm here.
Right.
Because all the white folks that voted for you, all the black folks that voted for you, they stayed home or they voted for me.
Right.
Obama would go psycho. He would say that was racist, what he just said.
So far, Obama has not used that kind of language. If you think about it,
he's not going to use
Obama
that.
rarely.
His wife uses that. She uses it twice as much. She uses it for herself and for him. So,
yeah, I like Michelle. Do you like Michelle? I shook her hand. I liked Michelle. I hate those nasty school lunches.
I mean, I got what she was trying to do, trying to make
it too,
healthier and better for children. Children eat horribly, by the way.
You know what though? Let me actually say this.
You're right. We talked about that. Remember, you said that children need to be out there exercising, not sitting at home, not being sedentary.
They don't need to be
Kids are
out there
supposed to eat junk
exercising.
food.
They don't need to be
Yeah, they're supposed to
exercising.
eat junk food.
They
My
need to
kids
be
eat junk
playing.
food
They
all the
need to
time.
be in recess and playing. That's the problem. Everybody's like, oh, let's do a play to yoga for kids. Yoga for kids? Take your butt outside.
No, we're not doing no yoga. Don't be bringing that weird Buddhist stuff in my house. Not with my kids.
Look, that's a liberal theology.
Yoga. I'm supposed to start it for my back.
I don't mess with yoga. I have a story.
Listen.
I don't mess with
Oh,
that
okay. I
stuff.
got to hear the story.
Before
Wait a
you
second.
start yoga, try Pilates. Try Pilates.
Yes.
With the
Pilates.
machines? I'm not doing it with the
Oh,
machines.
Pilates
You
is
don't
awesome.
have to use a machine.
Pilates is all machines.
No, it's
Yoga's
not.
what is Pilates?
it's
then?
not.
Pilates,
No, it's not.
now if you, I've
Pilates
done
was actually a
Pilates with
form
the
of-
machine.
Okay, I'm listening. What is Pilates without the machine?
The
What's
machine
the difference
is
between
actually a
Pilates and yoga?
modernization of Pilates.
Pilates is yoga. It's just harder to spell.
Pilates- You know who? Listen, Joseph Pilates was a brawler. He was a smoker. He was a drinker. And Pilates was actually not for women. It was actually for men who were in military combat to get them back on the battlefield. And basically, it dealt with their spine and realigning their spine. And actually, if you do it over time, I would say 2 or 3 years, you do lengthen the muscles. So that's a proven fact. I used to do Pilates.
I used to do Pilates too. It's a really great way to lean yourself up.
Come on.
You're
Why?
listening to I Smoke, I Drink. You're talking
AJ
about
smokes and drinks?
Don't worry, guys. He's gonna clean up by Friday. He's gonna get cleaned up.
that's why we do it.
But okay, my quick yoga story. So
Yeah, let me
I
hear this.
started doing yoga,
Okay.
and I did a 30-day yoga challenge. One, it made my hips huge. I stopped. But the worst part about it was after 7
Sorry. I don't mean to be laughing, but that was like a throw-in.
Well, I mean, she said that.
I mean, what?
Oh, how do I say this delicately?
The stretches and stuff, it just broadened my hips.
Your
up.
hips were broader than they may be now?
Yes, it was. They were like unproportionate. I was like, I gotta stop
my
doing
God.
this.
Maybe you were doing it wrong.
No, I was doing a program with a yoga instructor, and it was 30 days of it. Now, the reason why I had to stop, I had gotten about 25 days in, and I was so proud of myself. I did it every single day, and I started having nightmares. Like every single night, I would have nightmares.
What type of
And,
nightmares?
like scary, like people killing me, chasing me, like demons catching me. I've had maybe like 5 nightmares in my life, and they were usually after a scary movie. And I was like, oh my God. I told my mom one day, I mentioned to her, I was like, I don't know why, but I've been having nightmares every single night. And she was like, well, what have you been doing that's different? I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know. Well, like, da-da-da-da. I've been eating different. I've been sleeping. And I told her I have been doing a 30-day yoga challenge. She's like, that's what it is. That must be what it is. And she explained to me, and I started doing research about how yoga is a part of Buddhism, and it's actually worship.
Which it is, yeah.
It's
yeah, which it
actually
is.
Buddhist worship, and all the different symbols you're doing are worshiping different gods and deities and different things like that. And she was like, you have to pray and close those doors, blah, blah, blah. And I did all that.
But
and
tons
that
of Christian women do yoga with no problem.
I'm not saying that you won't have problems. I'm just saying as we westernize everything. Like,
I understand.
now it's just like a fun, stretchy thing. But the reality of what it is, we've taken it and made it something that it's not. It doesn't take away its origin or purpose, which is Buddhist worship.
Well, you know, you're absolutely right with that. Yoga, the concept behind yoga, it's nothing more than stretching, but what it does, it adds in the element of emptying yourself. And so when you empty yourself, you allow other things to enter in.
You guys
whether
are some
it's spirits
suspicious,
or
some
what have you.
suspicious
No,
sons of
listen,
bitches. Let me
you're
tell you
absolutely
right now.
because,
Y'all
AJ, You're
crazy.
absolutely right, because I was recommended yoga years back, but I said, I'll do Pilates because I read the history on Pilates. Pilates is great, but you're right. Yoga, you're supposed to empty yourself. You're supposed to meditate. And then, of course, when you empty yourself, other stuff is able to fill you.
Do you
up, fill
understand
your
that
mind, your
90%
spirit,
of the stuff we do in this country related to just about any holiday is pagan oriented, including Christmas?
Well, I get
trees,
the point that
halos.
I get the point that you're trying to make. Like we
acknowledges the
borrow
birth of
and take
Christ.
from everything. We've always done that. Even early Christians borrowed from their culture and came up with the different things we still celebrate today. But I think we have to differentiate and understand, which of those things are spiritual and have spiritual connotations beyond just,
And halos and Christmas trees don't?
No,
they
you're
don't.
making an argument I don't
No.
think anyone's making. I think we understand a lot of these
y'all.
things have. I'm just saying that when I did yoga.
I understand for you, the spirit it frustrated your spirit.
No, I'm telling people I do Pilates. Yoga is not worth it because you don't know what you're tapping into. I got really into it. When I do something, I really commit. And so making yoga a part of your life could have spiritual connotation or effects to you.
Great.
To your life.
Great. Everybody, you can't do yoga now.
No one said you can't, but I wouldn't encourage it.
Oh, there are tons of Christian women who do yoga all the time. And you tell me that you and Darren are so Christian. Y'all are so Christian. This is the problem. This is the problem.
A lot of
Suspicious
people-
ass folks.
It's not suspicious, guys. He's frustrated with the Lord or this. He could talk to Jesus about that. I'm just telling you, avoid yoga, guys. There are better options out there.
Please
for your body.
go do Pilates because
Yes.
that's so much better.
It actually is. It's actually better for
Wait
leaning
till
you
you
out
get-
and also building muscle. Yoga, you will not build muscle in the same way as you do with Pilates. Pilates has multiple different levels. You can do it on your own. You can also go and join in a gym.
You can do
where
yoga on
have
your own.
Machines. Let me finish. Where you have machines, you can elevate it. And Pilates is always creating new machines if you want to go to that level.
But you don't need
that
machines. That's the
always
whole purpose
have
of
new
yoga.
challenge.
That's the whole purpose of yoga. You can use your
if you
own
were
body.
listening, I said you have your own body that you can use with Pilates and a step above yoga. If you want to take it beyond and even tighten those muscles, really build your strength even more, Pilates has multiple different levels of machines that they're always updating. Even today,
Okay.
there's new machines that
All
are
right.
coming out for you to improve your skills.
I am Satan. I just want you to hear me. I'm going to physical therapy for yoga so Satan can heal my back.
Why would you even play like that? Everybody pray for him. We are reconsidering his anointing as bishop.
He's just joking.
I know. Well, he's joking, but he's serious also.
No, he's not serious.
I don't. You,
Yeah,
you know,
you think
when
you
someone
know
said
all
the first time I heard yoga, I said Yogi Berra.
Right. Let's get back to politics. Man, our producer has
Said,
said, let's get back to politics.
What were we talking about?
We were talking about.
talking about Obama, but look,
Right.
I
Oh.
want to get into something, and
Go
this
ahead,
is more
Darren.
so for you, Autry, because
This is about yoga.
no, it's not
Oh,
about
okay.
yoga. It's about donations. It's about Act Blue. Their stunning third quarter, $1.5 billion in donations. This
Wow.
is a political article. Democrat candidates and left-leaning groups raised $1.5 billion to Act Blue over the last 3 months, a record-smashing total that reveals the overwhelming financial power small dollar donors have unleashed up and down the ballots ahead of the 2020 election. This is the interesting thing because they're making a big deal about this, and Audrey, AJ, you'll chime in this. That back in 2016, Trump, I think, spent the least amount of money. He spent the least amount of money, and I think there was an article maybe 2 days ago where they were saying, "Oh yeah, Joe Biden is outspending Trump 2-1 or 3-1 when it comes to airwave advertisements." But of course, as we know, advertisements or spending money on whatever it might be doesn't guarantee that you're going to be elected for whatever you're running for. But it's interesting. I just wanted you to get your opinion on that.
Opinion on the fact that Joe Biden's Act Blue and Joe Biden raised more money. Money does. I mean, when you're at the presidential level, I think no. But remember, even though Trump spent less of his own money, he still got somewhere between 3 and 3.5 billion of free advertising from the media. Mm-hmm. So you have to count that into consideration when you say Trump only spent 200 million or whatever. He's got over $3 billion in equivalent media buys. So it does have something to play. I think if any, the real hallmarker is not the fact that Act Blue got 1.6 billion or whatever. The real marker is the fact that they did it through contributions of an average of $57. That
okay, right, less than
100,
200, right,
like 50 million people over and over again gave, or I think it's like 5 million people over and over again gave like 57 million. That's sort of the new judgment line where they say, hey, if you have a bunch of small dollar donors, that's a good indicator. That comes from Silicon Valley, the old startup model of software. You know, if you're starting a software company in online, what they call SaaS, software as a service, and you get a bunch of people that sign up, even if that's how Twitter made money, right? Twitter wasn't really making any money. How did they get investors? Because they pointed to everybody and said, look, we've got 15 million people using our platform every single day. So what the real bellwether that some polling places and some political types are saying about Biden is not necessarily that it's 1.6 billion, but it's that he got it through millions and millions of small dollar donors. If you compare that to Trump, that hasn't happened. That's why Bernie last cycle got a lot of waves. I don't put too much stock in that right now. I'm still nervous about it. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling a little better about Trump, but Trump cannot lose. Does anybody feel it's not close? Darren, Angela, does anybody feel that?
No,
the election's not close?
It's not close.
Close, I mean within like 3 points. Does anybody sitting around the table believe that Trump is ahead 5 points in any of the battleground states?
No way. I mean, I think that the way that they're showing how tight things are, some places the polling is showing they're, neck and neck. So I definitely don't think that there is any area where Trump is ahead 5. He wasn't too many battleground states last time. This time it's going to be even more difficult. And as far as money goes, at first Trump was out fundraising Biden. He was out raising Joe Biden pretty much until Joe Biden selected Kamala Harris as his running mate. The same day that he announced Kamala Harris as his running mate, they raised, I think they broke records overnight based on him selecting her. So a lot of people saw the addition of her as a strong ticket, as a way to shore in black voters. And I think, honestly, at this point, though, I think a lot of people were very comfortable in the fact that they were going to do well. And I think that they're fundraising so much because Democrats are still afraid. And they still feel like, well, we can't know for sure. These polls are not able to indicate winning or losing anymore. So I think that the Democrats are going to be able to fundraise far more money simply because they want Trump to lose more in a way than Republicans want him to win. And they want to make sure that that happens. So I'm not surprised that their fundraising money numbers are so high.
That and the Republicans did some dumb stuff with their fundraising. Some of the emails said, I got some Republican emails that said, how dare you not donate?
Yeah, people were getting text messages were you
on
very
that call
aggressive.
Too? Somebody was talking. No, you were on a different. That's you. Yeah, someone. I just had a meeting with a former campaign operative, I guess you could say, not a Trump campaign, but like an RNC campaign operative, and he was. In fact, our digital director Kyle used to be with another PAC, and he left them because he said what had happened is that they would pump out those nasty emails, and for 2 or 3 times it would raise the big bucks.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden people started charging back. They started writing F you. Because he said, listen, you're always going to get, you pump out 1 million emails, you're going to get 10,000, even 20,000. You suck. You know, Go to hell comments. But he was saying at one point they were getting 100 to 200,000, 10 to 20% a day of messages back saying, F you, go to hell, Trump.
Yeah.
And these were from people who had donated to him.
Yeah. Because, I tried to unsubscribe and they wouldn't unsubscribe me.
No, they wouldn't unsubscribe. You're 100%.
And so Google just started sending their emails to my spam because I just felt like,
know that independently, right? We did not have that meeting together.
Well, I know you talked about how Google basically
because what happened
their
is,
algorithm.
because what happened is the RNC. So there are certain protected brands. The RNC has a protected brand. The DNC has a protected brand. Coca-Cola, Apple, where Google says if it comes from this brand, unless you, the user, specifically click, it's like in a safe harbor. But what happened is so many people were clicking spam on the RNC that Google went to them and said, "Hey, I'm sorry, but we got to put this stuff into spam because you're spamming people." And that's exactly what happened. I mean, our digital director talks about some of the stuff that used to happen.
Yeah.
And so what I said, and when we say Trump's RNC, we know Trump doesn't have anything to do with this digital stuff. I think that's one of the reasons, largely Brad Parcell ended up with his butt out in the cold.
Yeah.
Because not only was he not a campaign manager, but he didn't have, the sense to not have his digital team pissing people off.
Yeah, they're pissing people off and they're not creating content. You know, a lot of the emails are, this is the fundraising deadline. We need your money now.
We do a lot of content-based stuff, don't we? We do some good content.
Hey, how are you feeling about things right now? Hey, what's going on?
Because you do gather insight from that. You glean insight.
Yeah, you do some surveys. You ask people what they think about the campaign so far. Every email being a fundraising email, it's like, really, guys?
I know. Anyway,
I've never had a problem with getting those RNC. I don't even get that stuff. So it's like foreign to me.
Well, I get the Democrat ones
Darren
too.
was like, "What's email?"
I get Joe Biden's too, and it's like night and day.
The Democrats calling me today. I told you the message. Did I tell you what they said to me when they called me today? Hey, we know you're a Republican, but we just want you to listen to this message.
Wow.
I hung up immediately. I should have listened.
Yeah.
Actually, if they called me,
I've never gotten texts from Trump, but I've gotten multiple texts from Joe Biden.
They were probably tracing where you live.
Well, no, Joe Biden. If she wasn't voting for Democrats for all her life, she wouldn't be getting them texts. But that's just me. You got to watch your spirit.
What are you talking about?
That's what happens. That's what happens.
That might be. You know what? That might be it.
She's been voting for Democrats, attending the Democrat rallies. I got to do a background check on you.
Knock yourself out.
You're an operative. You're an operative.
I'm secretly sabotaging your journey pack.
Big yoga hips. I want to know, was it a black instructor for the yoga?
What does that have to do with
He
it?
said something about yoga hips.
This yoga is going to get you some black hips.
You sound real fuzzy, and I think that's the Lord.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
That is true. You were talking that nonsense and it fuzzed
It went
up.
fuzzy. The Lord was like, let me shut this foolishness down.
It went fuzzy. Okay. Well, you know what? You're talking about the polls being close.
Let's look at the polls.
Yeah. Even what is it? Even The Hill has an article on Trafalgar. Chief pollist predicts Trump victory, polls predominantly missing the hidden vote. So they're talking about it. And actually, this was published today at about 9 a.m. This morning.
Well, today's Investor Business Daily and Technometrica poll has Biden at 48.5 and Trump at 46.
Let's look at the average of polls now in the top battleground states. We've got Biden in Florida plus 1.8 in the margin of error. Pennsylvania, Biden 4.8 outside the margin. Michigan, Biden outside the margin. Wisconsin, Biden outside the margin. North Carolina, Biden within the margin. Arizona, Biden within the margin. Let me say this. This is important. Let's assume the inside the margin ones Trump takes. So Trump takes Florida, or outside the margin ones, Trump takes Florida, Trump takes North Carolina. He takes Arizona. He can lose Michigan. He's got to keep either Michigan, Pennsylvania, or Wisconsin. He's got to keep one of those. But I will say this. I'm going to tell you one thing that makes me a little tiny nervous well, not nervous, that inclines me to go with Darren in some ways. I flip-flop on this daily. Michigan, John James is polling within 1 point, but Biden 7+2. Now, Michigan, John James is not running as some kind of squishy moderate. So I find it hard to believe that Biden takes the state and then John James takes the Senate, that voters split their vote. But if that's true, if it's true that Biden is going to win the state of Michigan and John James is going to win the state of be the senator from the state of Michigan, Trump's in some big trouble.
That's an interesting idea. John James has run a little bit more careful this time. Although he's supportive of the president, he hasn't aligned himself.
He hadn't latched himself to the president.
He hasn't latched it to him. He's got his own donor base now, and the name recognition that he's able to raise money on his own without needing to attach to a national figure. And I want to point out the Investor Business Daily poll and Technometrical poll is showing that since they launched tracking for the presidential election on October 12th, Biden's support has slipped 3.4 points from 51.9%, and Trump's has gone the other way, rising 2.6 points.
Yeah.
So the fact that they have, right now, they have it Biden at 48 and Trump at 46 is interesting to me. It's like, what happened in that recently?
No, I'm telling you what's happening. Biden went into the basement, and I'm not, I'm not joking. This is what happened to Hillary, and I believe this. I believe at this point in the election. Now, I think the Comey thing helped too, but at this point in the election, I think Hillary was barely pulling ahead in these states. And what happened is she went into hiding mode. She started going to concerts. She didn't go out. She didn't do anything. Trump is doing, 3 rallies today?
He's doing 5 rallies a day.
5 rallies a day. In other words, Trump is going to outwork that old geezer.
That's the American way.
I mean, this is...
You talking about Biden?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could do one rally. He could do one rally a week, and he would outwork Biden. That's my point. I don't understand. Biden is in hiding constantly. He's never done a rally. He does these little speeches where he draws these circles and have people standing in them. And how is it that he has so much people or enthusiasm or desire for this guy to be in the White House when he can't be found? No one knows what his policies are. He tells everybody, "Oh, just wait until I get elected." It's almost like when Nancy Pelosi said, "Well, we got to sign the health care to know what's in it." And so Biden is running off for this thing. Wait, just wait until I get elected, and then I'll tell you everything I'm doing. That's why I said these polls.
Oh, Darren can't hear.
Them when you can't find them.
Go ahead, Darren.
Oh, okay. Now, the point is this: I don't believe the polls. Joe Biden is nowhere to be found. He doesn't do rallies or anything like that. But what I wanted to do, and I forwarded you this thing. You're talking about John James.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you just get it from Detroit Metro Times? It says John James doesn't want voters to know he's a Republican, but here's a tale. And then it goes into this whole thing where John James is attempting to side. Now, listen, this is from the Democrat. It probably is
the Democrat Detroit Metro. Yeah, they're Democrat.
Yeah, Detroit Metro Times.
Detroit Metro Times, last time I knew, was the official newsletter of the Democratic Party.
Yeah, exactly.
Until they got taken over by the New York Times. You're echoing, by the way. It's feeding back into your mic, so it's coming back into ours.
Another interesting thing on these polling is that they're saying that more people think that Trump issues, which are, economy, law and order, the Supreme Court, more people think those are top issues than the issues that we would associate with Biden, which are COVID, healthcare, and race.
Yeah.
So more of the people who were polled, they felt that Trump issues were of greater importance and more priority than they did the issues that Joe Biden is running on.
Yeah, the problem is COVID the COVID has now, we've been dealing with now for 6 or 7 months. So now what's, I believe, happening is it's becoming baked in.
Yeah.
Right? That now people are like, okay, we got a mask.
And I'm surviving it.
And not only that, people are starting to get tired. Even Democrats are starting to say.
Yeah.
You know, I have some Biden friends. You know, the lady who here, big Biden supporter, right? She said to me today, first time I heard her say it, she said, man, I'm getting tired of this mask.
Right.
So, and she's huge mask person. So I think what we're experiencing is we're starting to experience two things. One, we're starting to experience Biden symbol fatigue, because we're not getting Biden fatigue because he's not out, but we're getting Biden symbol fatigue. The mask is with him.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, it's interesting that by him aligning himself with the coronavirus, it could actually hurt him in the long run.
Yeah.
Where now, when people think of the coronavirus and him going out, I would mandate masks. I would nationalize companies.
Yeah.
By him aligning himself with a disease, now that may, as people wary of it, they may associate
It's
him
tiny.
with that.
Darren, give us a check 1, check 2. Sorry, folks, we got to do a little inside baseball. Check.
Check 1, check 2, check 1.
No, there's something.
Still an echo?
There it goes. No, the echo's gone. It's just going in and out. We'll have to fix that. We'll have to try to figure it out. We're just going to have to figure it out.
Bootleg it. But you're right. I mean, you're right. He's not present. He's a symbol, and that symbol is representing an oppressive type of lifestyle. People don't want that. You're right. Absolutely right. This whole thing, I think, as what Democrats always do, they always overreach. They always over-exaggerate. I mean, there's a story out here where it's saying, you know, are the risk of reopening schools over-exaggerated? And this is from NPR. They're asking that serious question.
They're exactly exaggerated because they just did a random test of 11,000 people in New York, 11,000 students out of the 500,000 students or whatever they got, ridiculous number in New York. They just did a test, and I believe in that test, something like 10 folks came back positive of kids. Then they did a survey of how many parents willing to go back to school, 77%. Then of the kids who were going to school so far in these states, only like 3 or 4 are catching COVID. I mean, my oldest daughter caught it, and she was done in 2 days. Symptoms are gone. She had to stay quarantined.
Barron Trump too. I'm more concerned about teachers than I am about students.
Yeah, well, if you want to know the truth, I think teachers are lazy and they don't want to work.
Oh my goodness! At the school I used to work at, some of our best teachers were older, and they were like, "If you want us to teach in the classroom, we're not coming back."
Yeah.
And so, no, the children do need them, but
You're
if
Mike,
you've
Darren.
been on a team, especially of teachers, having those
Something wrong
older,
with your mic.
experienced teachers makes a huge difference.
It does. Listen, I'm semi joking. If you're older and you're vulnerable in that category, I get it. Keep your butt at home. All right, I can get that. If you're 25, 26, 30, and you're healthy.
Well, a lot of schools already had shortages of teachers.
You know, you get pneumonia.
To also have these elderly teachers not being able to teach and et cetera, it's difficult. I think it's time for people to adjust to distance learning to a certain degree, because this may become the new normal. Think about homeschooling. Start fighting your state for school choice so that you can take your kids to the type of learning environment that you want to. If you want to teach them at home, if you want them,
get this
whatever.
with distance learning, and a guy made this. I would love to take credit for this, but I'm not going to make this. He made this point about distance learning. The Academy of Teachers has been bitching at all of America for damn near 25 years. Too much screen time. Your kids have too much screen time. They can't watch TV. And now, all of a sudden, your kids can have all the screen time they want as long as they're doing it in front of Zoom. Which is it?
That's not the same thing.
No. Screen time is screen time.
You're talking about the light? You're talking about people were mad that the blue light from the screen.
No, what has happened? Yes, people have been saying screen time. You need in-person contact. Kids don't talk to each other no more.
Oh.
That's all I hear from teachers. And now all I hear is, no, social distance, get adjusted. What you just said. Oh, which is it?
I mean,
Listen,
the coronavirus was
public school teachers have I'm sorry, I hate to say it, and I hate to put everybody, no, I don't hate to, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
You don't hate to, but
Public school teachers are known in certain areas for being lazy.
That's a negative stereotype.
It is. Let's turn to the graduation rates. Let's look at what kids are learning. Kids are coming out of high school having to go into remedial math in college.
Are you blaming that on teachers
Yes.
or on the school system that requires teachers teach to a test?
I am blaming it on teachers. I'm blaming it on teachers unions. That's what I'm blaming
You're blaming
on.
on teachers unions.
That's correct.
Which is very different.
You know why? Because teachers make up the teachers union.
Teachers are a lot of this places is obligated. You kind of have to be in the union.
I don't know of any teacher. I'm not talking about private schools. I'm saying public schools. I don't know of any teacher. Let me say this. I rarely hear of a teacher that disagrees with their union, that they just accepted what their union, I'm just accepting what my union does.
You had that woman who tried to sue the union so that she wouldn't have to pay to them because they were donating to different causes, and they didn't allow her to.
I said that's a rare. And was that a teachers union?
Yeah,
I don't think that was a teachers union.
She tried
Maybe there was
to
a couple
sue
of
her
them.
teachers union.
So,
and
but
there's
I
not.
said-
She lost.
I said rarely. You know why? Because
They'll lose.
guess who elects the leaders of the teachers union? The teachers. So if you're electing crony ass leaders, I gotta look to it's sort of like this. When I say this, when people are like, our national debt is $3 trillion, our deficit.
Oh my gosh.
Well, Americans who elect politicians, right? Americans have $18,000 on average credit card debt and we're all living above our means, most of us as Americans. So why are we freaking surprised that our country can't be managed fiscally properly? We don't manage ourselves. Same thing for teachers. You're saying, these teachers come in, it's not the teachers union. You elect the people in the teachers union. You put them there.
A lot of this stuff is entrenched. It's not like it's a fair and equal opportunity. They can choose, we have all these options for who will lead the teachers union. That's not the way a lot of this bureaucracy works.
If all the teachers got together, half the teachers got together, and this happened just recently. Where did this happen? What union did this happen with? Half the teachers got together. And by the way, the Supreme Court ruled you no longer have to. You have the right to not forcibly have your money. That's the Supreme Court case now. You have the right to not forcibly have your money. Mm-hmm. Well, if that's the case, why are the teachers still paying into the union? They don't have to anymore.
I'm just saying, if you want to blame all this on teachers, that's where I'm going to disagree with you.
There's
a lot of different issues that go on with the way that the public school system is.
I don't blame it on teachers, but I look at it like this. If we can look at cops and say cops are a problem if they're beating up innocent people, we don't say it's the system.
It is the system that has to do with the cops. It comes from the top.
But at the end of the day,
we always say with the cops.
At the end of the day, we always say it comes down to the individual. So we do the police unions. That's true. We do say about the system, but at the end of the day, the focus is on the racist police officer. So my focus is on the incompetent instructor.
If you're just going to look at the issue like this, but if you're going to look at it broad-mindedly to find a solution, you're not just going to look at the individual. You're going to look at the system as well.
I agree. Everything is looking at. All I'm saying is, by far and large, my impression of the National Education Association is,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna shill for any union.
Maybe I will say this. Maybe if you're stuck in a classroom with 30 crazy kids, 5 of them need to be in what we used to call special education, which I don't think we call it that anymore. Now is it called?
Who knows?
Okay, it used to be called special ed, and that became pejorative. So now
before it was the slow bus.
So maybe you would. All I'm saying is, this is what I'm saying. This is how I paraphrase it. I find some of this teacher stuff not going one back in the classroom. I don't know if they're really concerned about. I'm not talking about the older ones, but I don't know if you're 26, you're 27. Are you really that concerned about COVID? If I put a camera on you, aren't you out with no mask in the stores and going around.
I think it's fine for young people with no pre-existing conditions. You know, you can take that risk. Hopefully they have in your system healthcare where you can get what you need if you do get sick.
I think all the public school systems have healthcare.
That's good, you know. So I agree with you with the younger students. I don't.
The younger
disagree
teachers.
on that. The younger.
So we're agreed. We're agreed. Now, anybody that's old, I said this from the very beginning of COVID. Anyone that's old, they should just. We're getting. Hold on. Let me just mute there. Anyone that's old, they're getting. They should not be taking any risk. I mean, if you are, 55, 60 plus, even now, you should be very, very narrow. And yes, President Trump survived because he has the entire U.S. military and the best doctors on the planet.
Yeah.
Watching him every single day.
And he's a workhorse anyway. I want to.
Do you think Biden has COVID? I hate to add to conspiracy theories. But don't you think Biden has COVID?
No, I the way, honestly, okay. Usually it's Autry and Darren that say inappropriate things on the show. But the way that Biden looks, if he got COVID, I just...
You don't think he'd make it?
I mean, when you look at him on screen, he's got all these age spots.
What if he gets COVID the last week of the election?
Keep his eyes open. Pray for Biden. Pray for his health.
Yeah, but we don't want anything bad to happen to Biden.
I don't want anything.
But you're right. Even if you
I hope he never gets it because I don't know.
Darren, your earphones are close to the mic or something, so it's giving feedback.
Also, I have a public school. I want to say, when I first started off in school, I started off late.
No, can't you hear the feedback from Darren?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's there's some. Do you have your headphones on? There's something pushing back into the mic. Well, I've been muting Darren to keep it from pushing back, so I have to unmute him when he starts talking. Okay. All right. So, what'd you say, AJ? I'm sorry.
I just wanted to say, since we're talking about public school teachers, when I started school, I quickly fell behind. You know, K-5 kindergarten. And my teacher, she was pregnant at the time. She didn't have time to really take with me and help me. My mom ended up working with me, and I had a new teacher that came in named Miss Johnson. And Miss Johnson worked with me, worked hard, spent time with me, helped my mom, and I caught up with the rest of the class. So I had her, I had Mr. Washington. I had really amazing. I had Miss Myers. I had really...
You went to private school, right?
I started off in a public school.
I did too.
So I had really amazing public school teachers. And although I ended up leaving and you know, having a good experience privately where I was being even more challenged and etc., I had to really catch up when I moved to private school. I'm still grateful for the experience I had in public school.
Yeah, I'm grateful too because it taught me to stay the
teachers I had
hell away from there. Public school for me was horrible.
I'm sorry.
Horrible. Oh, listen. What'd you say? It is. No, I unmuted it because I can hear it.
Okay, can you still hear it?
Check one. Yeah.
Check one.
No. Can't you hear the feedback in your headphones?
I can hear it now,
Yeah. It's been like that for half the show. We're going to figure it out. We like to thank everybody. Darren, is there anything? Because we're about to end here. We got so much stuff going on here. Anyway, go ahead, Darren.
No, we're good. There's a Charmaine the God article that I was going to point out, but we can go ahead. We'll talk about it later. He's saying that Trump is quoting the black male vote.
Yeah,
very interesting.
That's right. Oh, this has been the new, the era of Reconstruction, the New Journey Political Action Committee. So glad to have you on board here each and every day with your hosts, Darren Williams, Autry Pruitt, and AJ Swinson.
Uncle Ruckus again. No relation. This podcast is paid for by the New Journey PAC and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.